just gonna sit back, listen to the music for a second. Cause, I'm fucking hyped, bro. Whoa, what happened? Okay, let's see the performances, bro, because I've been curious. Oh. Shit running like Pope, bro. God, what is this? Options. Settings. Resolution. What a weird resolution. Yeah, that's not good. On. Oh! Why is... Fuck no. 1440 by 1080p. Yes. Apply. Apply. What the fuck was that, bro? Like, what is going on here? There we go. It's just not running good. That's a fucking... That's cap, bro. Oh, wow. It says I'm getting 120 frames. I'm just not seeing that. I'm not seeing that at all. There's no way I'm getting that. P? Okay, whatever. This is probably... Because there's no way in hell I'm getting all those frames. I just don't believe that. I just don't. I don't believe that for a fucking second, dude. Ultra. Cinematic's crazy. Video. There's gotta be something that's fucking up. This may impact performance and image quality. It also says 4.0 with debugging super similar. Apply. I just need some good good frames going on, bro. Should be good now. Okay, I got it. All right, let me just bump. All right, just apply that. It is what it is. Is what it is. Video. It ain't smooth. I'll say that right now. It's not smooth, bro. This is not a smooth experience so far.
We still have enough food for everyone.
Those fucking black bears.
Hold on here. Hold on. I'm not doing this. I'm just fucking not doing this, bro. I'm not doing it, bro. It ain't running. No, bro. No. Fucking turn this shit off then. Turn it off. I'll be fucking my shit up. Apply. Get out of here. Wow, it just drastically went down.
Come on now. Keep it together.
Look at that. Gross. Ultra performance. On. Max. On. Yeah, let's do minimum. Yep.
They were close. Let the lag Giles. Aye, he was a good man. And the blood.
I'm getting upset. This is just a lie, dude. There's no way I'm getting 100 frames. This is so bad. What do you mean I'm getting 100 frames? That's not right. Default. Apply. Okay. Graphics. Okay. Default. Apply. Yeah, holy 20 frames per second in this bitch.
Whoever did this deserves a knife in his throat. And you'll be the one to do it. We've got a lot of fight left. Cliff.
That's diarrhea, dude. Apply because I don't run that. Okay. maybe I should have done a controller with this because this is bad. Oh, let me find my controller. I'm not playing on keyboard, bro. Shit is ass on keyboard. Come on. Thought I had a plug around here somewhere. I should. Is this it right here? That is it indeed. All right. Okay, let's do controller. I have a way better time playing on controller, honestly.
Giles's sword.
His last words were of you, Cliff. May you find peace among his brothers. Come, say your farewells.
Giles. Rest well. You will be missed.
I'm almost certain we've been betrayed. How else would they know the exact moment we were away? Rotten bastards. How dare they?
If you want your gameplay to go from looking like this to this, you're going to want to follow these best setting tips. Today, we're going to be going over the best settings for Crimson Desert on the base PS5. We'll also cover the PS5 Pro, but we're going to start with the base PS5.
3080 Ti here, and even though the game is performing things stuttering, it's the recording, the game is definitely smooth. Now, of course, hardware and stuttering, it's yes, and things like that. Got a 3080 Ti here, and even though the game is performing pretty well, OBS and things like that are definitely smooth. Now, of course, Hardware Unboxed have done a fantastic video breaking down all the different graphics options, and show you what changes on playing and hardware, and I'd highly recommend starting off on the quality preset for a huge boost in performance. Now, of course, we've got a couple of different choices here. Off, obviously, no upscaler, which looks something like this, super clean, and of course, performance-wise, I'm sitting comfortably at around 54-53 FPS. If we push it across to AMD FSR 3.1, starting on native AA, for anti-aliasing upscaling, you'll see a huge boost in sharpness and how the game looks overall for a small performance penalty. During benchmarking without recording, I dropped from a solid 70 FPS to about 67 with native AA, and selecting the quality preset brought me all the way up to 88 FPS for a reasonable looking game. The quality is still almost just as crisp, but you can see some odd aliasing around edges of hair and things like that. If we instead move across to DLSS, I see that there's a little bit of blur over basically everything, even though I'm using DLAA here, which should just upscale our native game, and during benchmarking, it resulted in a slightly bigger hit to performance than using FSR 3.1 native. Now nice and sharp on and in its happening options. DLSS 4 is great, but we've also got DLSS 4.5, which produces a better looking image at the cost of performance. DLSS 4.5 DLAA takes me all the way down to 49 FPS during testing, which isn't quite half, but it's a huge hit to performance. And DLSS on quality takes me to a solid 60 during benchmarking, which is slightly lower than too much gain. Pushing across to even during DLSS, native DLSS much lower file. Considering what we're up, DLSS has for all activations, not very super DLSS slightly crisp gameplay experience, but if you're struggling for performance, choose quality for DLSS 4.0. No higher. Or of course, FSR. Your experience may be slightly different. I am using a 30 series card, even though it is near the top of the range, being a 3080 Ti. Newer RTX cards should definitely benefit from multiple improvements, and you might even get a better experience using a 4.5 compared to 4, not to mention higher base FPS anyways. This game is designed to run with ray tracing turned on, so if you've got a much newer RTX card, you'll see some pretty good performance boosts just from that alone. Personally, I'll be playing on DLSS 4 set to quality for the performance boost here. We do have ray reconstruction, which should improve how the game looks quite dramatically. Here is DLSS quality with ray reconstruction off, and here's it turned on. Obviously a massive performance hit, slicing basically whatever you have completely in half. Unless you got 200 something frames, this is definitely something you won't be enabling. Then NVIDIA Reflex, if you've got an NVIDIA graphics card, definitely turn this on and you should see a latency improvement from your mouse to your screen. Contrast does help raise or lower brightness, but if we hit P to preview, here's 50, then 40, and 60. Even though these are just 10 apart from the center point, contrast should basically always stay in 50. Personally, these shadows are quite dark. If you'd like to fix those shadows, head down to brightness adjustment at the very bottom. Hit F once you select it, or with that, things look so much better. In my opinion, these should be the other way around. Contrast, imagely, if your display supports it, you can turn this on and performance. display. Heading across to the graphics tab at the very top, here's where we can get the majority of our performance. Now, not to bore you with things, at the very top we've got a preset starting off on minimum. Here's what things look like with that. Performance should be greatly improved basically no matter what system you're on, but there's a huge amount of shimmering mainly brought on by changes to the lighting engine, disabling ray tracing, etc. Low still has ray tracing turned off, but most of that shimmering has disappeared. Medium re-enables ray tracing, and you should see a pretty big improvement to how lighting looks in the world. Then of course, high, as well as ultra, and finally, cinematic, you'll see the biggest performance change between low and medium when we're re-enabling ray tracing, and the next biggest step down is from ultra to cinematic, and a hidden step that's even higher than this. You'll see everything's maxed out except for lighting quality, which we can actually push up to max, which when applied should make the game look even better, but it comes with yet again another performance hit. Personally, if you got performance to spare, crank it up to ultra, and that's fine. Now of course, most systems won't be able to run ultra. Basically everything in here does have a performance impact, but a few of these have way more than you'd expect. At the very top, model quality, while you'd expect this to only really affect how much VRAM your game is using, it actually has a pretty linear FPS difference between the lowest option we can choose here, which is low, but you can actually get even lower by choosing the minimum preset, enabling the minimum option for most of these, and cranking them all the way up to what they'd be for the ultra preset. A bit weird, but there's a quick quirk for this menu. Raising everything up to ultra, but model quality on minimum should give you a slight performance boost from everything on ultra. Changing model quality doesn't necessarily make the game look any worse. It mainly changes, quite surprisingly, a lot of the terrain. Leave it on either low or minimum. Hardware and box video. To keep things simple, for model quality, leave it on either low or minimum, and you won't really notice too much of a difference here. Texture quality, basically no impact, as long as you have more than enough VRAM, you can crank this up pretty high and forget about it. Shadow quality, I didn't see too much of a difference performance-wise, besides a small drop from the lower half, medium and below, to the upper half, high and above. If you're starved for FPS, leave this at medium at highest. Here's shadows with minimum and medium, but if we move up to high or above, I'm pretty sure these shadows get quite a bit less flickery, but performance-wise, there's about a 3 FPS difference for me. Ray tracing, quite obviously, is something this game was built with in mind, and if we turn it off, doesn't necessarily look terrible, and we do see a small performance boost, especially on older RTX cards, but in a lot of places you won't really see that much of a difference, performance-wise, so leaving it on is probably the best thing here, if your card supports it, that is. Then in lighting, we've got a huge variation in performance. Minimum, I was setting it around 94 FPS while benchmarking, but there's quite a bit of shimmering. On low, I moved down to 92, but most of the shimmering has vanished. Stepping up to medium, there's a small FPS hit. Then high, we're at roughly the same FPS. Another small drop to ultra, a much bigger drop to cinematic, and finally max, you'll see a huge slash in your performance, and I don't think anyone should really play this high unless you're rocking a 5090. As for the shimmering you see on trees and other light sources, grass, etc., most of that vanishes on ultra, and if you can play on ultra, that's what you should leave lighting on. Reflection quality, a small performance change between minimum and cinematic. For the most part, ultra or high should be more than fine. Advanced weather effects, I'm pretty sure would have more of a CPU impact. I didn't see any change here. And if you're running a really old CPU, maybe try turning this off to see if it lightens some of that load. Water quality, there shouldn't be too much of a difference here. High or ultra should be fine in most systems. Foliage density does add quite a bit of density to forests, as you'd expect. Performance-wise, it's very linear and very small between the lowest and the highest. Somewhere around the middle point is more than fine. Volumetric fog, again, basically no difference between these. I'll be leaving this on ultra. Effect quality, same thing here. This one especially will be super situational. Ultra is more than fine for most setups, unless you're getting hitching and stuttering when there's lots of particles during combat, etc. Simulation quality, again, I'm pretty sure this is mostly CPU based, and for the most part, if you're not really CPU limited, leaving this on ultra should be fine. I didn't have a performance difference here. Finally, post-processing, same thing here. I didn't see a difference at all. To finish things off with a quick recap, most of your performance will come from obviously changing your preset, but that breaks down to mostly the ray tracing option, lighting quality, and of course, the model quality option. Something you can quite literally do is crank your way to low, for example, and get an eye for your performance. Right now I'm getting around 75, 74.
We did nothing to deserve this. The Black Bears have lost their minds. Let's repay blood with blood.
FPS.